Before we get into the video here, I just got to give a huge thank you to the guys over at AMD. You can see their banner up there. Got the old sticker on the sail panel there, because without them, this car would not be getting back on the road as soon as it's going to be getting on the road here. So pretty much when this car is all said and done, it's going to be built out of an entire AMD catalog, and that is pretty insane, you know, that one company offers parts that you could basically build an entire car out of, at least, you know, body wise, bumpers, glass, all that sort of good stuff. So if you guys need any sort of stuff like that, sheet metal, quarters, floors, glass, bumpers, interior pieces, anything like that, make sure to check them out. Great guys over there, and definitely great products. So in all honesty, I didn't get a whole lot done to the Charger here last week. I was more or less focused on getting this thing here ready for Mo Party, and then I had to do some other things and whatnot, get some videos edited, some school stuff. But we're back. Before I went to Mo Party, me and my dad pulled the engine out of this thing here. So that's gone. That was a huge help. Did some other couple little things to the car. He took home some other parts and stuff that I won't be needing for a while, so it got me a little more shop space here, which I'm happy about. So before I go ahead and start working on the beautiful floor here, my plan is to clean up this engine bay, vacuum it, just tear the rest of the wiring out, kind of get the rest of the car torn apart here. Got to throw my spare back on the Charger here so it can be a roller again, get it all squared up, do a little more trimming and prep on the inside here, and then we can start test fitting this thing. I got the rest of the wiring harness out of the engine bay in there, cleaned up. I got the rest of the dash harness out. Now that all that is out, I'm going to go ahead and remove the last bit of metal that needs to be taken out before I can start test fitting the floor. And that is this pinch weld lip right here. So you can see, obviously, this half goes to the firewall, and then there's this lip from the floor. So it goes all the way down here, in there, and then all the way to this side. And then I think before I put the floor in, or at least before I final weld the floor in, I'm gonna go ahead and fix these rust spots too, just because I think it'll be easier without a giant piece of metal right here. So I got that lip cut off the entire bottom of the firewall here. As you can see, there's some pretty heavy rust, or not heavy rust, but some pretty big spots that have been rusted out. So we got this corner here, we go through down this lip. I mean, there's just a couple pinholes and stuff. I'll go through, straighten this out, weld all those up, grind it down flush. This section, I have no idea why there's not a lip for the pinch weld, so I gotta go ahead and make a piece for that. There is a section missing right there. And then probably the most notable is this section right here, which is just completely gone. So goal for tonight, got a few hours in here, is to weld up a new piece for that, a new flange. Go through, grind down, weld up everything, get this basically all situated so that when I test fit the floor, it'll just butt up right against it and I can go from there. Pinch weld lip is finally done. Voila. I got this last little section here to do, but I can do that once the floor is in. Be a lot easier that way, but that whole pinch weld seam all the way up and under here, all the way down to the corner on that side is complete. Just one more rusty piece of metal no longer on the car, and that is going to be a lot easier to weld to now. Freaking stoked on that. Took me a little bit, but I finally got the floor all situated, got it kind of clamped down and held in with self-tappers right now. Had to kind of finagle it in while laying on my back underneath it to get that front pinch weld to align and get everything situated. It's a pretty big piece to have to move by yourself here, but got it all dialed. That front pinch weld now is looking sweet. I'm very happy with that, and I feel a lot better about it knowing, you know, there's no rust under there. That's all straight clean metal now. So wanted to get the head and get the floor situated in order to mock up my new AMD seat braces right here. So these things are pretty sweet. They basically just go along the inner rocker here, pretty simple, and the floor drops right down on top of it. So got them all prepped already. Just gonna go ahead and do some plug welds, burn these things into the inner rockers. You can see I just kind of slipped them underneath the floor, got my marks. So Pop the floor out for hopefully the final time, burn these things in, and then continue on with the floor. Okay, braces are all welded in. Got the plug welds all on the side there and the top. I ended up just running a couple more beads over that so I can grind it down, smooth it all out. That side looks good there, so time to grind them down, get them all bare metal, and cover them in some weld-through primer. Got the floor back in, obviously. Got it all held down with the seat braces and everything, all set in place. It'll take some massaging to like close up this gap and everything, but I'm under here, gonna go ahead and mark out every section that will be metal on metal basically, and then once I pull the floor back out, that'll tell me exactly where I need to start drilling holes. Here you can clearly see that outline of the torsion bar cross member in the front frame rails here. And all those dots are where the spot weld's gonna be. So I went ahead, measured out, marked out where I'm gonna do each and every one of them here. I did about an inch gap on the sides here, a 1/4 inch in, because that's a 1/2 inch lip. Same thing for the pinch weld along the torsion bar cross member here. And then if it's on a corner or on a bend, I put 2 closer together, or basically 1 just a 1/2 inch apart between the 1 inch gap, just so that way that'll form to that corner perfectly there. There's seats right there, so I'll go ahead and drill those holes. Step 1, got to take my handy dandy, I guess, I don't know technically what you call this, punch here. Mark out all the holes, go through the pilot hole, and then drill them out to a 1/4 inch hole. Final step of floor prep here. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this thing down with acetone. As you can see, I got all the holes now drilled, all them ground down to bare metal, so we got no more burrs. Should be easy to weld that way. Let's go ahead, wipe it down, get all the dust and metal shavings off, and then throw some primer on this. Normally I use Eastwood stuff for weld-through primer, but they were out of stock for like 2 months. So was Amazon, and so was everywhere else I looked. So we got the old Harbor Freight special of, I don't know what this is, but it's going to work. So let's go ahead, throw some primer on these bare metal spots, and then get the floor in the car. floor's in for the final time now. Just got it situated and everything. Got some self-tappers holding it down in some spots. Got the vice grips along the front pinch weld in there. And man, feels good to get it in. Now I just got to do like, I forget what the number was, but I think it's over like 200 spot welds or something to get this all in here. So I'm gonna push this thing in the unit here because it is like 38 degrees out. Yeah, I just checked, but it's friggin' cold. So I'm gonna roll it in there and start knocking out these spot welds. It's not the very exciting thing about the floor install here, but it's definitely a necessity. Just went through and ground down every single one of the spot welds. And that, ugh, as you can see, it made a mess. And frick, man, I'm freaking cold in here and I'm wearing shorts. Mint. And yeah, I still got to go through and basically do another pass of welding because as you can see, stuff like this I don't like. But you can see all these here are smooth down flush. But like this stuff, I'm gonna go through, touch up rather than just slapping some filler over it. I'm gonna fill it with weld there, go through, grind it down. Same thing, I gotta do a couple over here, and then there's just a couple on that side there. So go ahead, knock that out, and then I think we'll be looking pretty good in here. It took way longer than I wanted or honestly was expecting, but I don't know what I'm expecting at this point. Whew. That looks freaking sweet. Every single spot weld is now smoothed out. All the rails or pinch welds, whatever you want to call it, are smoothed out on the side. Got everything smoothed out up until there. Oh my god, that looks freaking sweet. Definitely worth the amount of work I had to put into that. So it'll take a little bit of body work in some spots. Most of this tunnel is probably going to end up getting cut out anyway. So like that 4-speed hump right there, whatever I don't cut out, like if I have to cut to about there, I'll go ahead and make that part flush. But yeah, depending on what trans I put in this, most less probably gonna end up getting cut out anyway. But yeah, overall, these footwell areas and the torsion bar cross member, I mean, that looks, man, that is so much better than what it was yesterday. So definitely worth the work. Got to clean this mess up and a little bit more on this. The whole thing will finally be done. Ugh. So there we have it. Got some primer on the floor here, and with that being said, it is officially complete, minus the back floor pieces here, which you can see I got them sitting on the table up there. I haven't decided how I'm gonna start mocking those up with the back piece yet because I'm still waiting on rear rails, but that's not the point of this video. So yeah, this turned out pretty good actually. I mean, now that I got some primer on it, you can see that is pretty smooth. So definitely worth the amount of time I had to put into it to get it that smooth. It'll take some body work to actually kind of finalize it all and everything, but man, for now I am pretty happy with that. You can see over here that turned out really good. The one spot I was struggling with was this section here, so I'm happy that all turned out good. That spot up there is all nice and everything, and of course that front seam is looking pretty good. Once I'll slap some seam seal on there, she'll be dialed there. But yeah, that looks sweet. I'm very happy with that. And before I end off this video here, of course I gotta give one last big thank you to the guys over at AMD Auto Metal Direct for obviously supplying the floor here, because this car would not be where it's at or where it's gonna be at when it's finished without their help. I mean, it's crazy to think that just 2 months ago this thing was sitting in the same driveway it sat for 39 years, you know, all rusted out, trashed inside. And then with a little bit of, well, a lot of work and a little bit of, I don't even know at this point. Here we are. Yeah, I'm not really sure where I was going with that, but we're here. You get what I'm saying. So that's pretty cool to be able to say. And like I was saying at the beginning of this video, once this is all said and done, pretty much this entire car is going to be all new AMD sheet metal, because it definitely needs it. Next video progress wise on the Charger here will probably be, I mean, just moving back on the based off the floor here. That's kind of my plan, is just to start at the beginning, you know, the main structure points like torsion bar, cross member, the floor. Both of those are in now, so it's just going to be moving back. Obviously, we got the rear floor section, and then got the rear seat piece and trunk floor, so just kind of keep moving back. Ideally, I'd like to tear down the rest of this car, like get all the front suspension, glass, everything out, get the rear end and out and such, so that way I can chop up the back and kind of do that section all at once. I feel like it's hard for me to explain, but I got it all kind of planned up in my head, the best way to go about it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to end up happening here. But yeah, we'll just take it one step at a time. I'm trying to get these videos out as quick as I can. I'm between work and school. By the time I actually am able to get here, it's like 7:30, 8 at night. And then I usually end up working here till like 11:30 midnight every night. So it's a lot, trying to make a lot happen here, or at least something happen here with a little bit of stuff that we got here. But yeah, so far it's going pretty good. Just one step at a time, and keep on keeping on with this thing.